Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Yes Education webinar. I'm Bo O'Brien. Good to have everyone here today. Very excited to introduce this special webinar that we have for everyone here today. We got a lot of inquiries recently for the US and more interest in the US market. And it's been a long time since we've done a webinar on the US market. So we're only proud to have today with us Elsie Paredes and Pamela Smith with us today to discuss Virginia Tech. Of course, Virginia Tech is a very leading provider in the US that many of you will be familiar with. But today there will be a focus on their pathway programs leading to undergrad and postgraduate courses at Virginia Tech. So we're very pleased to have with us today the Program Director for Undergrad Pathway, Miss Elsie Paredes, and the Program Director for the Postgrad entry, which is Pamela Smith. So how are you both doing today? Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Bo.
Good evening.
It's our pleasure to be here with you, all of you, and happy to share the information on Virginia Tech and our pathway programs.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you both for joining. I know it's a late hour. It's early in the morning in East Asia, but late for you there. So we really do appreciate your time today. So for everyone, yes, we have really good to have our partners from Southeast Asia, South Asia here today. This format for today is just like the same as before. Both Elsie and Pamela will give a presentation. And once that's completed, we will enter a Q&A. So please, if you have any questions, make sure to type it in the chat box. This is a really good opportunity for you guys to get to know a really leading provider in the US that's helped develop so many international students over the years. So I really do encourage you to put your thinking caps on and to think of any specific questions that you may have during this time. So I think, Elsie, you will begin. Thank you so much. I'll pass it on to you now. Thanks, Elsie.
All right, thank you, Bo. So yes, what I'm going to do. The plan is I will start with an overview of Virginia Tech and what makes it special, and then I'll talk briefly about direct admission to Virginia Tech undergraduate programs, and then I'm going to move to the AdvantageVT pathway program for undergraduate. And then Pamela will continue with the master's pathway program. All right. So, we are here tonight to talk about Virginia Tech. As you can see from in the picture, this is our Hokie bird, and this is our mascot. And actually, all of us at Virginia Tech, faculty, staff, and students, we call ourselves Hokies. And so we just wanted to welcome all of you to this presentation. All right, so let me start by talking about Virginia Tech and where we are located. So we are in the state of Virginia, obviously. In Blacksburg is a city in Southwest Virginia, and that's where our beautiful campus is located. We are surrounded by mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, as you can see from the picture. So Blacksburg is a beautiful place, a beautiful town. We have very nice weather. And also it's a place, even though it's a smaller town, is rural, but it's, it's very convenient for students so that they can focus on their studies. But also when students want to take an opportunity to visit other larger cities, we are, located on the East Coast of the United States, as you can see from the map. So there is only a 4-hour drive to Washington, D.C., for example. To New York is around 7.5 hours. And then to the south, North Carolina, for example, 3 hours away. So very well located for students to take advantage and just visit other cities while they're doing their studies. So the community, it's a very safe place for families, for students. And even though it's a small town, Virginia Tech is a large comprehensive university. So there are many, many opportunities for students, to establish relationships, to do all kinds of internships, co-ops, and also to take advantage of one of the main activities at Virginia Tech, which is research. And in fact, undergraduate students have this opportunity, okay? Unlike other universities that only reserve research for graduate students. So our students are very active in the community, and we are very happy to report that we have, the happiest students in the nation. So Virginia Tech is, as I said, is a large comprehensive university. It was founded as a military school. And right now, these are the colleges that we have, and, with many majors to offer. So, so briefly, I will name all of these colleges. We have agriculture and life sciences, architecture, engineering, and of course, architecture is highly ranked. It's number 5 in the nation. Also, our engineering program, we are very well known for our engineering program. We have I think it's 14 majors right now. And then we have the liberal arts, natural resources, the College of Business, the College of Science. And then for those students who are not sure what they want to pursue, they can follow the university studies, where they start taking classes and courses in different subjects until they make a decision. We also have 2 professional schools, the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine and the Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine. Okay, so Virginia Tech, in terms of the population, we have around 30,000 undergraduate students, 7,000 graduate students, and of those 4,000 international students that are representatives of over 100 countries. So Virginia Tech is a very diverse campus, and we actually have students from all 50 states. So what makes Virginia Tech unique, and why is it that, students, come to us? It's, as I mentioned before, Virginia Tech was founded as a military school. So our motto, from the beginning has been ut prosim, which means that I may serve. So this means that we are, into service to the community, giving back to the community. And every single thing we do is, with that in mind. So students at Virginia Tech will get plenty of opportunities to do this in their courses, and also with the community, giving back to the community, volunteering, helping the community. We actually still have the Corps de Cadets, which is a military training program with over 1,000 students here. So our motto, it's of service, which is what guides our activities at Virginia Tech. Another important aspect of Virginia Tech is the Hokie Nation concept. As I said at the beginning, we are all Hokies, the Hokie bird, our mascot. So what this means is that we take care of each other. So we form a wonderful community. Students really find different opportunities to, meet other people, meet people from all over the world. There are around 900 clubs places where the students can actually get to know other people. And we are involved in all kinds of service to the community, okay? Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about undergraduate admissions, and Virginia Tech takes a holistic approach to reviewing applications. So what this means is that there is an academic and a personal aspect to this application. So I'm going to explain each of them. In terms of the academic aspect, we are not so very interested in just knowing an overall GPA, for example, for the high school. Instead, depending on the majors that the students are applying to, we look at individual courses, and we want to make sure that students are challenging themselves. And for example, proof of this would be that students are taking, you know, an AP math, or if they are pursuing a degree in engineering, that they have very good grades in sciences and math. Okay, so we take into account their academic record, and of course, you know, the rigor, as I mentioned, you know, how students actually push themselves and in trying to, you know, advance their education. The SAT is optional for international students. If the students have a score, it's okay for them to submit it, but we are not going to request one. So no recommendation letters or resumes accepted for admission. The only thing we're looking at is the courses that the students have taken in high school. And of course, for international students, we need to know their English proficiency level. So we accept the TOEFL, which is 80 or higher, the IELTS 6.5 or higher, and recently, especially after COVID-19, we started accepting Duolingo because students were not having opportunities to find TOEFL or IELTS test centers. So 105 for Duolingo. In terms of the personal aspect of admissions, so we want to make sure that students have special attributes, and so they will have to present 4 personal statements. The first one has to do with their experiences with service. And it could be any, you know, clubs or organizations that they are part of in their community or in their school, and how they are giving back to the community. Another theme is resilience. So we want to see how the student, you know, when having difficulties at some point in their lives, how have they overcome that? So they can explain in an essay. Leadership, of course, you know, in opportunities that they can have in their high school or their communities, and also their long-term goals for their career. These are the deadlines for direct admission application. So we have the early decision, which is November 1st. They will get notified mid-December. Early action, which is December 1st, and the notification would be late February. And then the regular, and this is only if there are any spaces available, so it's not recommended, you know, for international students, which is January 15th. So we highly recommend that international students apply either November 1st or December 1st, no later than that, okay? And finally, why Virginia Tech? Why do students choose Virginia Tech? First, because of our graduation rate is 83%, with a national average of 49%. Also, because 82% of our undergraduates are employed or pursuing further education within 6 months of graduation. The average starting salary for Virginia Tech graduate is $60,000 a year. And also because we have a very high retention rate from the first to the second year, which is due to all the, you know, the help that we provide, the support that we provide to our students so that they are successful. We're very active on social media, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of these are, you know, and of course our website where you can find more information. So this is, you know, basically, well, what I have for undergraduate admissions. Now I'm going to talk more specifically about the program that I direct, which is the AdvantageVT Pathway Program undergraduate, okay? So what is AdvantageVT undergraduate? AdvantageVT is a pathway program. These students that come to this program have all the requirements for direct admission, but the only thing they don't have is the English language score. So we offer this program to these students so that they can, continue improving their English language skills. At the same time, they take credit-bearing classes. So students in the program can earn up to 18 transferable credits that count toward the completion of their degree program. And what's important to say here is that these credit classes that they are taking are not electives. These are classes that are required for their first year in their undergraduate degree. Okay, so if they're in engineering, for example, or in sciences, they will be taking their calculus class, their composition, etc. Also, and besides improving their English language skills, they will receive intensive academic preparation. So we want to make sure that the students are fully aware of the standards and the expectations for American universities, and also integration into the American university culture. So as the name suggests, AdvantageVT is, students are really at an advantage over students who are directly admitted to Virginia Tech, because they will have the time to adapt to the culture, to learn about the American university culture, and gain experience. So once they are ready to transfer as full-time students, they don't have to, spend all this time learning all these things. We have 3 levels for students that want to come through this program. So each level and the number represents the number of semesters that they will have to be in the program. So we place the students in these levels based on their initial English language proficiency. In this slide, I only have the TOEFL IBT, but I also have another slide with other tests that we accept. So for level 3, for example, is for high intermediate English proficiency, a TOEFL IBT of 60. So students who are admitted in this level will have to do 3 semesters. The first semester is English for academic purposes and a university success seminar. On their second semester, it's another course of English for academic purposes, the second seminar, and they start taking 2 credit courses, okay? And then on their last semester, they do English for academic purposes, fewer hours, of course, and then 3 credit courses. So by the time they finish the program successfully, they have guaranteed entry to Virginia Tech with advanced standing. So for level 2 is a TOEFL IBT of 74. So they only do 2 semesters. In both semesters, they take credit-bearing classes. And this is our new level, level 1, which we are starting this August. Is only a 1 semester pathway. And this is for students that are very high in their English proficiency, but they are not there yet. So it's a TOEFL IBT of 78. And even some students that have 80 or the 81, even though they could go directly, sometimes students prefer to come to our program because they would take advantage of all of this learning and improving their English language skills before they start the university. So these are the 3 levels that we have, and they are based on their initial English language proficiency. So the program features as the same as undergraduate direct admissions. There is no SAT. If the students have a score, they can submit it, but is not required. And no exit TOEFL required. So the only time where we request a TOEFL score is at the beginning, so that they can be placed in one of the 3 levels. So unlike direct admission that only accepts students for the fall, we have 3 entry dates per year: spring, fall, and summer. And also because our students are still improving their language skills and they need lots of support, we offer free tutoring, not only in the English language, but also in math for their calculus classes, for example. So we have a PhD student from the math department at Virginia Tech who works with our students. Also, we have an academic advisor that provides advising, and she meets with the students at least twice per semester to make sure that they are making progress, if they don't have any issues or problems, and if they do, you know, we help them with everything they need. So the Pathway program offers 3 tracks. We have a business pathway, an engineering pathway, and the science pathway. So when the students apply to the program, they will have to choose one of these tracks. Now, I have to note that for engineering pathway, and this is true also for undergraduate direct admissions, students don't choose a major from the beginning. They will be admitted as general engineering. And after the first year, when they take different classes, then they can declare a major. And students actually start working with their undergraduate advisors even when they are in our program. So when they're in the last semester of our program, we make arrangements for the students to meet with the advisors from the business college, you know, from the College of Engineering and the College of Science. And they have an information meeting where they explain to them what's going to happen once they become full-time students. So the preparation that we were talking about, intensive academic preparation, is the curriculum that we have. It has an emphasis on content and vocabulary development in these 3 areas: science, engineering, and business. So we want the students to be prepared with the necessary vocabulary and content that they will be studying. Some examples is, for example, a guided research project in the discipline of study, and they will have plenty of opportunities to write different types of writings like reports, memos, correspondences, etc. Also, plenty of opportunities to conduct independent research projects, group projects, and oral presentations, so that they, you know, learn and are prepared when they, you know, go to Virginia Tech as full-time students. When I was talking about the English for academic purposes, you know, and the University Success Seminar. So the University Success Seminar is specifically designed to teach students everything about the resources that they have available at the university, and also how to be a successful student. So, for example, these are some of the topics that are taught in these seminars: how to take good notes, how to manage their times and their goals, and how to send an email, for example, to their professors, how to respond these emails, how to use the university libraries and all the resources, their student organizations and clubs. I mentioned that we have over 900 of them. Also, if the students are into athletics and sports, you know, they can be part of that. So everything that the students need to know to be successful. In terms of the admission process for AdvantageVT, as I mentioned that students' records will be evaluated by undergraduate admissions to make sure that they meet all the requirements for, you know, engineering, science, or business. So in terms of coursework, the requirements are 3 units of math, 2 units of laboratory science, and some additional academic units like foreign language. In terms of the grades, if they are applying to the engineering pathway, they will have a GPA of 3.5 out of 4.0. And for science and business, they need to have a GPA of 3.0. Okay. Now in this slide, you can see other English language tests that we also accept for entry into the program. So it's the TOEFL IBT for level 1, also IELTS 6.5, the PTE, which is the Pearson test of English, and the Duolingo test is not available for level 1. But for level 2 and 3, they can submit, besides the TOEFL, the IELTS, the PTE, they can also submit the Duolingo test, okay? In order for students to make progress and matriculate as full-time students, they need to meet the requirements of our program. So they will not have to take any more tests, but they will have to make sure that they maintain a good GPA in the credit-bearing classes that they take during the program. So if they are in the engineering pathway, they need to maintain a 3.0 GPA. If they are in science and business, 2.5 GPA. And in addition to having this GPA in their credit courses, in their English for academic purposes and their university success seminars, they must have a minimum of 70%, which is equivalent to a C. So if they meet these two requirements, students will be transferred to Virginia Tech as full-time students. Now, in the event that the student, for example, fails a class during the course of the program, they will have one opportunity to repeat a semester, whereas it's a credit-bearing class that they're repeating or the English class. So we give them a chance. And when the students do repeat one semester, they are placed on academic probation. And our academic advisor is constantly meeting with the students, making sure that they are attending tutoring, that they're using all the resources, because we want the students to be successful. We're very happy to report that we have a 97% success rate. So that means that most of the students who come through our program are transferred to Virginia Tech as full-time students. In terms of the expenses per semester, tuition up to 6 credits is $19,000. In the event that the students are taking 7 or more credits, we just need to add the price per credit, which is around $1,200. And then there is the comprehensive fees that all students at Virginia Tech pay. And this covers all of the wonderful resources and services that we offer. There is an international student fee, the room and board, which this price reflects the cost for the residence halls at Virginia Tech. In fact, our students have priority for the residence halls, and for direct admissions, the first year students are required, to stay and to live on campus. And this is just because they want students to have the opportunity to meet other students and also practice their English language, right? So the health insurance, which is mandatory, and books and supplies. So we're talking about roughly, $28,000 per semester. I mentioned that we have 3 entry dates for AdvantageVT. So right now we are accepting students for our summer semester. The application deadline is April 10th, and classes will start in May. And for the fall, our application deadline is July 10th, and classes will be starting in August. And for spring next year, December 10th, and classes start in January. Now, I'm just going to briefly explain the application process, even though all application needs to be done through the Office of Yes Education. But this is just for you to know what is needed from the students and how the process goes. So basically, this is the link that where students will, create an account and they can upload their materials there. So what is needed is a non-refundable application fee. Right now, we are running a special discount until June the 30th of $75. Normally, we charge $235 for the application fee. Another thing that the students need to complete is the paper version of the Virginia Tech undergraduate application, all their transcripts translated into English, their English language score, like TOEFL, IELTS, the ID page of their passport, and a copy of a bank statement or letter of financial support. So the students' records from high school will be reviewed by undergraduate admissions. And then if the student is accepted into the program, they will receive a letter. Upon receipt of this letter of, congratulating them, the students will need to make a $500 deposit to secure their seat in the program. All right. So that's all I have for the undergraduate pathway. I don't know if you would like to stop right now and ask any questions, or should we continue and then we do the questions at the end?
Yes, I think we'll continue and we'll take all of the questions at the end.
Great. So now I'm gonna let Pamela, my colleague Pamela Smart-Smith, to continue with the AdvantageVT Master's Program.
Okay. Hi and good morning, and I guess to everyone. I'm going to tell you about our master's program, and this program is starting in fall of 2021. It is a new program for Virginia Tech, and you'll see as we go through the slides that it operates in a very similar fashion to the undergraduate program with a few exceptions, which I'll clarify for you. Okay. Next. The AdvantageVT Master's Program is a pathway program for international students who otherwise qualify for admission to graduate programs at Virginia Tech, but do not meet the English requirements. And I will identify all these programs for you so that you'll have a list and know which ones are participating with us at the time. And it's very important here to note that it is for students who qualify for admission. So they have to meet all of the requirements that a student would, with the exception of that TOEFL and English requirement. Okay. So, if a student is applying for computer science, for example, it benefits them to actually have some experience in computer science. It's not that students that are changing career paths or study paths can't apply, but they should have at least enough of a background to qualify. All right, next. It is pre-admission. Students will earn 6 to 9 credit hours in their degree of study, in their field of study, going towards their programs while they're attending our program. So they attend the English for Academic Purposes classes along with graduate level classes as they go through the semesters. It is guaranteed entry. So there's no other, once they're admitted into the program, there's no other second step or conditions or anything that they have to meet aside from doing well in their classes. We have multiple entry dates per year, depending on the program, although I will say most of our programs do have, for engineering in particular, have fall start dates. But there are some like computer science that they can start in spring or summer. So it's rolling admission. And most departments will let us know of their decisions within 10 business days. That's part of the agreement that they have with us, is to let us know that. However, final acceptance and admissions letter are dependent upon approval by the Office of Export and Secure Research Compliance at Virginia Tech. And this can take a little bit longer, particularly if you have anyone who's ever served in the military or has a type of job like that. The clearance can take longer. It's only about 4 or 5 students per year that get rejected. So out of all of the applicants for graduate school, it's not that much, but it's just something to be aware of, that we may be able to contact and say, hey, the student has admission from the department, but we have to wait for the formal letter from the graduate school. And that can take anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 weeks, just depending on the student's background and how backlogged they are. We also, like the undergraduate program, do offer seminars along with our English for Academic Purposes. In the case of the graduate school, we're looking at research and leadership, as well as support for academics. And in particular, I really want to help students know how to navigate the graduate education system in the US, institutional review boards, things that they need for being able to research if they decide in the future to if they do a thesis option, or perhaps are using a master's on the way to a PhD. Now, this program right now is not approved for PhDs, but students can take a master's on their way to a PhD. So it can be used as a stepping stone, but they can't apply directly for the PhD or a doctoral program. There is no GRE required for admission to our programs. So even if a GRE is listed on the graduate application, our programs do not require it. And there is a movement away from the GRE anyway in a lot of in graduate schools, because it's not always the best indicator of a student's performance. So this is actually, it's good, because like I said, even in programs that may say they want students to upload a GRE, they do not need it for ours. Okay. Students do have to have an existing undergraduate, I mean, they have to have an undergraduate degree from an accredited institute of higher learning in order to apply for a program. The minimum GPA is a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale, and that's for most majors. Mechanical engineering, however, is a 3.3. So, and that can vary depending on the different departments. Right now, the mechanical engineering is the only one that requires a 3.3. Like I said before, they have to meet all of the regular requirements, and decisions are made by the departments of the program and the graduate school. They're not made by us. So like the undergraduate program, students are being reviewed by the same people who review the applications for all other direct admission students. But we issue, of course, their initial I-20, and then that gets transferred over to the graduate school and to Virginia Tech once they matriculate 100% into the program and they finish ABT masters. Next. Okay, again, very similar structure. If you take a look at the different levels, with the corresponding TOEFL scores down there. There are some programs that have different exceptions to this, and I will go into those in detail in a moment. But overall, the level 3 program is a 3-semester program in which students take, the first semester is only English classes, and this is for our lower level students. And then by the second semester, they take 1 3-credit-hour class, plus their English for academic purposes. And by the final semester, they take 6 academic credits in their department, along with a reduced load of English for academic purpose courses. Now, these are going to be mostly content-based, because our goal, of course, is to get students ready for their degree programs. And so a real strong focus on business, engineering, and language needed for architecture, and those type of things. We do have a 2-semester program and a 1-semester program. And the most popular one that we have right now is the 1-semester program. But those do fill up quickly because, you know, those are students that are taking classes at the same time as all the incoming direct admission. So departments can limit those courses. This is just an equivalency slide for score equivalencies that we accept. And you'll see for the 1-semester program that it's an 80 plus with a TOEFL plus 16 minimum subscores. And then they accept the TOEFL ITV plus and the IELTS exam. The graduate school will not accept any other exams. We don't accept Duolingo or anything else. These are the ones that they will accept. Okay, next. I'm about to go into the different participating programs, and right now we have, in some of our programs, there are options for working in Northern Virginia, on a Northern Virginia campus, and it'll be listed on the different program sites. However, because the English for academic purposes and the English courses are in Blacksburg, those courses have to be taken with us. And then the departments have programs on both campuses. So students will be able to take their classes with us, but then, you know, they will finish and complete in a Northern Virginia campus or a Blacksburg campus, depending on the program. So next. All right. We have three main colleges that work with us right now: the College of Engineering, the College of Business, and the College of Architecture. Engineering is one of our largest programs, and we're pretty highly ranked for engineering and known for engineering. So the Biomedical Engineering and Mechanics website, this is their information. There is, you'll see on each of these slides, the degree, GPA minimum, the main campus location, and there could be two, and then the entry semester. And the entry semester is, for fall beginning programs, is pretty easy. So biomechanical engineering only accepts students in the fall. So if a student is a level 3, they could take their English courses in the summer and then start taking credit classes in the fall. So if they're level 2 or level 1, they have to start in the fall. Okay. Some of our other ones are not like this, and you'll see that, and that's why we have the entry semester on it. And also on each one of these sites are links to the graduate program itself for the program, the department, but then also a link to the graduate catalog for that program. And in the graduate catalog is where you find information about background, types of courses, faculty. It varies. Different departments have put different amounts of effort into their graduate catalog. And so some will be extremely detailed and some may not. So, but it's still good to look at both when you're looking to see if a student is a good candidate for these classes. And I'm sure that, you know, that's where Yes Education can help you and kind of look at a lot of this and help to decipher and get your way through all of it. We have, and we also, our most popular one right now is computer science. Computer science has 2 degree options. So the Master of Science is mainly for students who are eventually going to get a PhD. So, and the Masters of Engineering in Computer Science is more practical based. So they are, if a student applies for a Master's of Science, they're looking for a higher level student, one that has some experience probably in, or a really strong background in computer science. So that's just something to note depending on that type of, they do require 3.0, and they have locations both, they have classes both in Blacksburg and outside Washington, DC, and students can begin any semester. Being computer science, they offer classes summer, spring, fall, and all the time. So they're very good. Next. We also have Industrial Systems Engineering, and this is their Master's in Industrial Systems and Engineering. And this is a fall only program as well. So again, you see that the entry will be summer, fall, or fall. Next. We also have Mechanical Engineering. This is the one that requires a 3.3. And here you'll see that you'll note that the entry semesters get a little bit more confusing or a little bit more complex. And that's because these programs do not have classes in the summer. It doesn't mean that they'll never have classes in the summer, and it can happen, but there's no guarantee of classes. So students, for example, who come in a 3-semester program are going to wind up taking 4 semesters because they have that break in the summer. So, you know, they could start in the summer and then take classes in fall and spring and be okay. But if they start in the fall, they'll go to classes fall and spring and have a break in the summer. So just know that they have that break. And in normal times, they can travel home, they can travel in the United States, they could work on campus, perhaps as an option for a few hours. And one thing I did want to note that I didn't mention is that none of this, students in our program for AVT Masters do not qualify for financial support from the departments. Once they finish, the departments can offer funding. So that is an option once they're fully matriculated into the program. Next. The Department of Civil Engineering has 5 main programs. These are the 3 that are participating with us currently. Transportation and Infrastructure, Structural Engineering and Materials, and Construction Engineering and Management. The other 2 will perhaps come on board, but they wanted to see how it works first. So Just note that. And again, they don't have summer classes as a norm, so hence the entry semesters are a little bit different. Next. Excuse me, my throat's getting dry. Our next college is College of Business, and there's 2 degree programs in here that are participating. One is for the Master's in Accounting and Information Systems. This program is only in Blacksburg, and they have summer classes, so students can, they admit students year round. They can also, so they can start in a semester. With the College of Business, because of the higher level of English required in business and negotiation, those type of things, they do require that all of their students take a 3-semester option. So even if a student has a 74 or an 80, they still need to take the 3-semester option. So they will be starting and taking the, all 3 semesters before they go 100% into the accounting program. Next. Also in the College of Business, we have Hospitality and Tourism Management. Now this is based in the Washington, D.C. area. Again, it's just a really, Blacksburg is a very beautiful place and it's a really great environment. But of course, for Hospitality and Tourism Management, having the access to that campus where you're able to be in an area with more hotels and more experiences, it's a good thing. And so that's why it's located up there. And they are also, all the College of Business courses require the 3-semester option. Okay, next. Okay, our final participating college at the moment is College of Architecture and Urban Studies. We have in the Washington metropolitan area, the MArch 2 in architecture. This is a degree for people who have experience in architecture already. So students or similar related degree. They need to have a portfolio to present and some type of background in architecture. Now, there is a like Elsie said, our architecture undergraduate program is ranked 5th. And so their graduate program on campus in Blacksburg will be working with us in the future, but probably not for fall 2021. So that hasn't come online. So right now, this is the only one. That program will offer Master's in Architecture MArch 4, which will be for students who are switching degrees and want to it takes longer, of course, because they have to take a lot of background courses. So there'll be more options that way. Now, architecture is different from engineering and business, and that architecture said, okay, well, we don't really want to have a level 2. If students are an 80 or below on their IBT, they have to take the level 3. And if they're above an 80, they take the 1-semester option. So it's kind of, there's no level 2 really for architecture. All right. And yeah, and so they have their entry semesters are the same. They have fall, summer, or fall and spring for level 1. So that's how those work out. They also offer a degree in urban design if that's something that your students are interested in. And the final degree in architecture is, next, the Urban Affairs and Planning. This is more public administration based, and it's again, more for government and those kind of things. And it's the same requirements as all of the architecture degrees. And you'll notice that all of these right now are based in the greater Washington metropolitan area. There are other partners with both of these programs, so students can have a lot of different options. And if you go to their website, you can take a look at those. All right, next. So again, this slide just kind of reminds you that their programs require mandatory level 3 are the business ones. And then if below 80, the IBT is below 80 or the equivalent exam, architecture, urban design, urban affairs, and planning. Okay. These are the estimated expenses. You'll see they're very similar, aside from the tuition, to the undergraduate program, because the comprehensive fees, international student fees, room and board, health insurance, and all of that's about the same. There is limited graduate housing available, but it's not guaranteed. Most of our graduate students do live off campus in apartments, but there is some graduate housing, and they can request on campus housing and dining as well. So, okay, next. Oh, and I forgot to mention all of the credit hours, so 6 to 9 credit hours are included in that tuition fee. So there's not an additional cost for extra tuition from Virginia Tech. We follow the Virginia Tech calendar. So all the classes begin and end with the regular, because the students are in the classes with the student, aside from their English for academic purposes. So we have to follow that very closely. Okay. Next. Okay. And the applicant deadlines are different from the other programs that we have, in that, and you'll notice here that it has 2 different application deadlines. And the reason for that is simply that we have to have a master's graduate school application and an AdvantageVT master's program application. Students, in order to fill out the Virginia Tech Language and Culture Institute application, have to have a letter of admission from the graduate school before they need to upload that into the system. Okay, next. And this is, again, just to kind of explain that there's 2 parts to our admissions. The graduate school has very graciously, agreed to work with us with this program. And as such, we rely on them to allow us to use their system. So there's a few quirks when you're applying, and they have to go to the graduate school website and apply. And there's a tick box that says, are you applying as an AVT graduate student applicant? And you have to check that. When you check that, it just notifies me. And again, this is on here, but you probably want to run these things and questions through, your Yes Education, and let them also clarify for you how this works. Like I said, the Department of Review takes 10 business days. Once a student has an admissions letter, then they will do the VTLCI application. And that has also been reduced to $75 until June the 30th. One little quirk about this too is that when you're filling out the actual graduate application, you may have to choose a different date because direct admission dates close before ours do. So we will accept graduate applications up until the 25th of June. The fall closing date for many of our programs is already passed. And so now they're only accepting applications for fall 2022. It's a little confusing, but you have to pick that future date, and then we have to ask the department to review it earlier. So it's a little intricate, but that's why we're all here to answer questions and to help you. So that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Pamela. Fantastic presentation. So we will have, if anyone has any questions for both Elsie or Pamela, we can get started now. Just before everyone thinks about a question, I had a few myself, in particular with these entry dates. So one that I saw, an interesting one, is the College of Architecture and Urban Studies, that program. Yeah, so there's no level 2, but yeah, there's a level 3. So let's say if someone started in the fall, so they would do, fall would be this would be the first semester, then spring after that, and then they wouldn't do a program, they wouldn't have a semester in the summer, they would just do that 3rd semester in the next fall. Is that
yes,
right?
that's typically how it would happen. It does not mean that they don't offer classes sometimes in the summer. So classes for graduate school are often on a demand base. So if they have 8 students that need a class, there are times when they do offer classes. We just don't guarantee that, because aside from computer science, for example, computer science just runs classes in the summer all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they would have that break in a lot of cases.
And do you find both for undergrad and master's level, do you find most students from East Asia applying for the spring semester or the fall semester for AVT, for any program?
Yeah.
Well, I can say for undergrad, most of the students come, in the fall.
In the fall,
Because it's when,
it matches up with the time.
School. But the spring, we also have new students coming in. So, yeah. And in summer, it's more for, we encourage students who are in level 3 to actually start in the summer, because they do their first semester in the summer and then fall, spring, and then
you match up after that.
Yeah, they can take the summer off and they start, in the fall.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for the graduate program. So we're starting fall 2021. But if we had level 3 students that came in, we would probably suggest that they start in the summer, so that then they be done in the spring and fully matriculated by the next fall.
It's more convenient to do, if you're doing the 3 semester model, to start in the summer, I think, especially getting that English out of the way.
Yeah, and it I think it sets them up to get ready for further classes that they're going to be taking in the fall.
Yeah. So we've got another question from Zijia about this. Asks, if a student starts level 1 in the fall, when will the master program start? Spring or next fall?
So if they're level 1, they will be starting classes. Level 1, they'll be taking 2 credit classes, so 6 credit hours, and 1 English for academic purposes classes. And they will matriculate in spring full time. And one thing that I forgot to mention too, that's really important, is that students do have to maintain a 3.0 in their credit classes, and they have to maintain a 2.0 in their English classes. So provided that they keep that grade, they get the 3.0 in their credit classes, they would matriculate in the spring. So it would be, but they'll start taking classes right away in level 1.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons I think that's been our most popular, is that we have those students that are right below the minimum TOEFL for the graduate school is 90. And some departments have higher scores. So students can sometimes say, okay, well, I have a 90 or 91, but I'd like to apply for AVT Masters to get stronger English skills. Or a department can say, hey, we think you need more help, you need more English, so we'll admit you. And they get an admission letters from us that states that they're going to the AVT Masters program.
Yeah. But during the master's and undergrad, students normally do 8 credits per semester or 6?
Master's is normally, full-time master's is 9. And 9. For undergraduate, Elsie, it's...
In undergrad?
Yeah.
What, for full-time?
Yeah, full-time.
Yeah.
Full-time could be, it depends on the program, but 12 credits is the minimum, I think.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so about 12 to 15 would be average for an undergraduate student.
Yeah.
So 5 classes.
We have a question. Do you provide like campus services such as like airport pickup? And there is accommodation as well. And do you have any information about the fees for accommodation?
Well, we don't actually go and pick up students, but we do have at the Language and Culture Institute, we do have an assistant director for student services. And she provides all the information, like when students, are admitted into the program and the date is coming for the students to arrive. She sends information with every detail about, you know, the buses that they can take or the taxis that they can take, and then also a list of all the hotels that are surrounding their area.
Understood.
And where the students can stay, you know, at the beginning before they move into their, you know, or she can also send information about places where they can rent apartments. So she provides lots of information. She also arranges lots of opportunities for students to do, you know, additional activities like hiking and you know, celebrations of Halloween and things like that. So yeah,
Trips to Walmart when they first arrive to buy stuff.
Shopping.
And
So we take care of the students. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So normally international students from East Asia or Southeast Asia, do they usually fly into LA first and then transfer to Washington, DC, and then move onwards from there? What's like a typical flight plan?
Usually I mean, there are different routes depending on what country they come from, but they can you know, arrive in Washington, DC, or sometimes Chicago, sometimes New York, and then they will fly into Roanoke, which is our regional airport in this region. So, and then from Roanoke is around 30 miles to Blacksburg. So, but there is, you know, buses, you know, taxis and Ubers. I mean, they can, there's plenty of transportation.
Fantastic. That's good. And with the undergrad, one more question on that. So if a student did a level one and they started in spring, they would then have the summer off. Is that
yeah,
right?
I mean, during the summer is very limited, the courses they can take, and even some, you know, students can take classes only during, you know, the last part of the summer, you know, as full-time students. So many students prefer to take the summer off and start everything in fall. Yes.
Yeah.
We could during summer too take maybe 1 or 2 classes, but as I said, they are limited.
Right, understood. Fantastic. Okay, I have a question here from Ashok Roy. Asked about PhD programs at Virginia Tech. Is there any PhD available for international students? I know you're not responsible for that. But...
we would love to have the PhD program part of the Pathways undergraduate, but the dean, when we met with her, was like, no, not yet. So we're starting with the master's program, but there are ample opportunities for research. And certainly if you have qualified students, you know, we have a ton of programs. Some doctoral programs will, even if they're interested in a student, will pay for their funding to come and take, maybe if they need an English class or something, but the minimum TOEFL is a 90. And depending on the type of students, we have had doc students that have come and Canada, or that have come and studied with us, and the department has paid for them to study with us if they're fully funded. So certainly if you have very qualified students who would be you know, would love to work with, there's professors that would like to work with them. You know, there are so many opportunities. You know, we have the medical school, we have veterinary school, we have tons of engineering programs and education, arts, you name it.
Great, that's fantastic. We have a question here about married students. So sometimes we get some students that from Southeast Asia or South Asia that are married and they want to take their partner as well to the States. So how difficult is that right now? Should the student be applying as a single entrant, or can they apply apply with their partner as well as a dependent? And is there accommodation available? I think you said for master's students or for graduate students, there's not many accommodation available. Most of those students would go look for an apartment nearby, I think. But I think the main thing, my main question would be, about can applicants bring their partner over at the moment?
Yeah, we have spouse visas. So
spouse visas,
we have had, in the past, we have had that happen, and we've had, you know, we just have brought them over with an F2 instead of an F1, and we've issued those before. So that would be a question that we could clarify a little bit more with our admissions officer, Beth Lohr, or with student services, who's our Jana Moore, who does our, who's one of our DSOs along with Dawn. So they would be able to provide more intricate information into the immigration part of it. And so I don't want to give the wrong advice, but we have.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
No, as long
most of ours,
I was
yeah.
just curious myself because I
Yeah.
haven't done a lot of spouse visa for
Yeah.
US, but yeah, there's support there for that.
Yeah, we certainly do, because most of our Saudi students came over with
Yes.
spouses or sisters or you know, brothers, and so we did have that, and they were able to take classes with us as well. So
yeah,
we have an intensive English program.
Great. Got a question from Anna Yang about the ranking. So I think, yeah, Virginia Tech, according to US News, it's like 74.
Yes, Virginia Tech is a public institution. Among all public institutions in the country, we are ranked number 30, and we are number 74. Among all.
And I see for like engineering, it's quite high, 13. Civil engineering 9, or environmental engineering 10, like quite high for engineering.
Yeah, very highly ranked. Yeah, and it's very competitive. That's also, you know, another thing. So we really you know, look for, you know, the best students.
Yeah, the requirements for engineering in particular are quite high.
Yeah,
students will have to be of a high caliber.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, you know, especially with the graduate program, that's why I stress that they have to be qualified with the exception of English, because they will be holding them to that standard. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, we've gone a little bit over time, and I'm so conscious for your time because it's late
it's all right
over there. So
okay.
Thank you once again, Elsie and Pamela, for joining us today. I think it was a really great and fruitful seminar that our partners got a lot of great information on, and they have a better understanding of, especially Advantage VT. So yeah, really thanks for your time and support. And if I have any more questions, or my team, we'll be sure to let you know.
Please do. Yes.
Right, please do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I hope it's a good year for all of us.
Yes.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Let's
Fingers
hope so.
crossed. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and we'll speak soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.